There's just something you should know. I think there's something I should tell you. Those danger phrases, there's something you should know, or there's something I should tell you. First of all, if there's something I should tell you, I should just tell you instead of prefacing it with, there's something I need to tell you. And I want to always ask myself, do I need to tell you this? There's one of our power phrases today is, I don't know, but I do know. Sometimes that phrase comes in really handy when we want to structure our thoughts into sentences like this.
I was listening to so-and-so talk about you, your brother talk about you, your sister talk about, I was listening to, your friend talk about you. And you know what they said?
I don't know why they said that, but I do know that they love me. And I don't know why you told me that, but I do know that it wasn't meant to make me feel good or to benefit me. So why is it that you told me that? And then when they finish, or sometime during the process, let them know. Chances are I will be upset, but the person that I'll be upset with will not be that person. It will be you. And I will tell them what you told me. And I'll tell them that you told it to me. So with that said, go ahead. I had to warn you, because I don't know why they would say that. I don't know what context in which they would say that. But I do know we are friends. And I don't know why you would tell me that, but I do know that it wouldn't be for any good reason. So I don't know if we are friends, but I do know that from this point forward, I will be more cautious of what I say around you, knowing that you will repeat it to other people without my consent. Let people know things like that, hey, I understand if somebody said something about me. We all do that. We all work through things. I don't take it to heart. It wasn't meant for my ears. It's a process some people have to go through to work through certain issues so that when they're talking to me, they can be more loving. I don't know about what people say when I'm not around. I do know how people behave when I am around. And I do know what they do for me. I do know how they treat me and make me feel. I don't know what mistakes they make or what processes they have to go through when I'm not around. I do know how they have loved me in the past. And I do know love when I see it. I don't know what you have for me, but I do know it's not love. Let people know what you don't know and what you do know. Those phrases make it very simple sometimes to clarify your thoughts. I don't know why you would bring that up in this meeting, but I do know that I already turned that project into you. And I do know that I've never been the reason you have been late. Here you go. That's how you do it. Simple. That's what scripting does. Let's say we were in a meeting and my boss was called on the fact that she's turning in expense reports late every week. And so she's trying to cover her own behind and she's saying,
well, it's just, I normally turn them in on time, but sometimes, I just never know when I'm going to get what I need from Dan, and things like that make me late.
I could say, Mary, excuse me, I don't know why you would impugn my professional ability in front of all of these people, but I do know that I have never turned a report in late to you. So I don't know why you might turn things in late sometimes, but I do know it's not because of me. If I feel like saying that. Now, if this is my supervisor, I better be prepared because I don't know where I'm going to be working next week, but I do know the average supervisor would fire me if I said something like that in front of them. However, sometimes it's worth it. It's all the cost-benefit analysis that goes before saying things like this. Let's say that somebody tried to call me out. I had just spoken with one of my teammates earlier today about when I'm going to be turning in some paperwork so that they can, in turn, at the end of the week, send that on to their client. The client, during this meeting, whether it's virtual or in person, makes a comment such as, hey, John, by the way, could you make sure that you send us those reports on time this Friday? Because evidently I didn't know this. He was sending them in late, despite the fact that everyone else was sending what he needs on time. And so John makes a comment like,
yeah, that reminds me, Dan, do you think you could get those in on time this week? Thanks.
How can we call people on that? Because most people, the vast majority of people who would be witness to those types of comments, they're going to judge us on how we respond to that. Thinking to themselves, how's he going to handle that? Let's see what Dan says in response to that, which I know not to be true. That's all people are really doing, especially those who really matter. You know what I mean? People who are the people who would give us the opportunities that we would like. They're going to be watching to see how we respond, to see who we are when we counter that. So who do I want to be? If I'm in the workplace, I want my client especially to see me as a service-oriented professional. That would always serve me. I want my employees to see me that way. I want my boss to see me that way. I want my coworkers to see me that way. And I want my customer to see me that way. So how can I be the most service-oriented possible? And how could I, by the way, this is another rule, a principle I would always want to implement. How can I assume everybody is telling the truth? Because if I am someone of integrity who tells the truth, I'm going to assume most people are as well. That said, I would want to respond in a way that I don't think you're saying anything that's not true just to try to cover your own behind, or I don't think you're trying to pass the buck over to me or throw me under the bus. I'm assuming that you don't know. You don't even know that I'm sending you everything that I have on time every week. And for some reason, which is a mystery to me, it's getting lost or held up, or there's some part of the process that's broken down. Because remember, at work, I'm not taking anything personally. Please don't take anything personally at work. If you are taking things personally, I'm giving you permission to stop that. It's not personal. It has to do with the other person, anything that they say to you. It either has to do with the process there at work, the product there at work, or the people that are saying it there at work. It has nothing to do with you, ever. This is just work. Okay, so that said, I'm assuming you're telling the truth. I'm not taking it personally. With that as the lead up to this, with that as the foundation, it'd be most natural for me to say something like, this type of response could be totally beyond reproach, because that's a key at work, beyond reproach, if I'm choosing a way to respond to difficult people. For example, I could use the I don't know, I do know. Hey, John, I'm glad that you brought that up. Thank you so much, because I don't know what has happened in the past with these reports, but I do know that if you have a question on it, you know what you're doing. So other people might have questions on it as well. And I appreciate this opportunity if I could clarify. They are always in the XYZ folder, which you'll find on the XYZ server. And I don't know if that's ever impacted anybody's job, not being able to find them on time, but I do know that they have never been late. So if they have impacted your job or your productivity or your customers, I apologize for not making this clear sooner. And if you ever have a challenge in the future, you all know what my extension is or my email. Call me day or night, and I'll always be happy to help point you to where it is if I, for some reason, did not clarify that before, okay? Thank you. Oh, I'm so service-oriented, I want to die. I can't take it. That said, what these scripts are intended to do is to help us remember not so much the words, but who we are. Because we spend so much time in these situations trying to access the words that live in, that left side of the brain, or that section of the brain, that hemisphere of the brain, that we're focusing on that rather than who we are. It's kind of like we're focusing on form rather than substance. And form is the words that come out of our mouth. Substance is what those words are made out of. You know what I mean? Who we are is the substance. The form is the words that we speak. And we focus so much on the words sometime, on the form, we forget about the substance, And it's my wish for everybody that I can somehow help this process that we are all engaging in, where we're really trying to not so much discover who we are or become a better version of who we are, although that's what I say sometimes. What I really mean is, and I think a lot of us here, are really trying to remember who we are. That's it. We're trying to remember that perfect version of ourselves that we know we are, but sometimes we forget because life is distracting us all the time and pulling us away from that. And I believe that's part of the lesson. And you know that I talk a lot about how these people who appear to us as difficult people are really simply master teachers here to present a lesson to us. The lessons present themselves all the time. We just don't recognize them until retrospect. And I believe the best we can do is be prepared as possible all the time, so that when these moments in time present themselves to us that are really lessons in disguise, as difficult people or mothers, that I hope during those moments we are so well prepared, the words come out more easily. And instead, we can stop during that moment, that sliver in time between event and response, and simply remember who we are. And the words will come out more effortlessly and reflect, be a testament to who we are. And that cosmic footprint that we're leaving is really going to lead us home. And it all starts in that sliver in time, that because we stop and remember who we are, transforms into a miraculous moment. And that miraculous moment helps take that cycle, that we find ourselves in, cycle, and transforms that cycle into a turning point. And that turning point then changes the trajectory of our life forever. And it's really all because during that miraculous instant, we stopped and remembered who we were. So that is what I hope these do for you. Because no matter how good the words are, if our intention is not to try and remember who we are, what our natural state is, to show you extreme love while I get all of my needs met at the same time, because we can do that. I'm not sure how to do that in every situation, but I know that the words that are coming out of our mouth, I know they have an impact and they leave a cosmic footprint that stays till the end of time, wherever we were and on whoever we touched. So use your words well. And more than anything else, practice these in advance. Use your flashcards and practice saying these things so that when these moments present themselves to us, we are ready to show the world who we are. I should say, remember who we are. You ready?